My name's Zio, and you know what time it is. That's right, it's April 25th, and we got us a headline to unpack here. Our man Hiro is back to give us the scoop on what's in store for the month of May. May 10th brings us an update to the seasonal point shop, so if you're trying to clean up your dual quest times and you're not Scrooge McDuck, don't trip. You can get your hands on the Plutos and Maximus capsules in the point shop. Oh man, more cute Rappies. These are the Rappy Design Contest winners. I like the Dolls Rappy one better personally. Also on May 10th is the new 24-man limited time quest, Wasteland Interception. Here you can get your hands on seasonal points, DeFi capsules, and the all-important level 6 potential materials. And of course you can get your hands on even more goodies from limited time tasks. Of course that quest is only going to be around for a week. There's also going to be ARX records for rank 2 Stia Cocoon solo for all classes. May 24th brings us the limited time quest, Dazzling Chaos Suppression Op 23. Wait a minute, haven't we seen this before? Well, if it looks familiar to you, it should. This is an updated version of last year's event, but this time we've got fiends from Kavaris and Stia to deal with. Court Skoden from Noose Implant is also guaranteed to show up here. There's also Resplendent Necks at the end, and, just like last year, Captain has a chance to appear. So maybe you've had your eye on that Dragon Slayer camo, but you just can't get it to drop. So that was May. Yeah, happy early birthday NGS. FOMO Arigatou, Mr. Roboto. Well, enough about that. This one had a special guest here. That's right, series producer Yuya Kimura came on to say a few words. This man has been with the game since the very beginning. He started off by thanking everyone for sticking with the game so far. He also acknowledged the bugs and other issues that arose from the transition from base PSO2 to NGS, and of course, the lack of content. They wanted to roll out content at a faster pace, but quickly realized at the beginning that it was difficult to have both games coexist. That, coupled with the lack of experience in developing for an open world. He then went on to say something that a lot of people seem to have misunderstood. Regarding how NGS is managed, Hiro Arai and the rest of the PR and management staff are in charge of relaying new information to players, while the developers, myself included, focus on game development and keeping up to speed on the reactions and opinions of the players. There will be no big changes in our strategy going forward. He could have worded this better, but he's more or less saying there's no change in the PR and marketing strategy. Kimura's crew is still going to be working on the game in the back end, whereas Hiro and them are still going to be the mouthpiece that talks to us. But enough yakety yak, it's time for the good stuff. So, we all thought that this was just going to be some basic player and alliance housing. Well, it turns out there's more to these creative spaces than meets the eye. You can link parts together like they show here, using a switch to open a door. But it doesn't stop there. Looks like there are some insane levels of customization here. You can make your own field races, mazes, and puzzles like the one shown here. You can even make cooperative puzzles like the one shown here, where one person has to open a switch to let the other person through. This looks absolutely nuts. I know I said before that I was looking forward to seeing what people come up with here, but now I think I am even more so. Then they showed off something called portable holograms. This looks like temporary graffiti that you can stick anywhere in cities and on the field. You know how we always joke that PSO2 is anime space waifu? Well, guess what? You'll be able to give characters that anime aesthetic with the cell shading feature. On top of that, you can even have that style in cutscenes. You'll also be able to adjust the outline thickness and shadow density. Then they showed us some new enemy types. It's pretty safe to assume that these fiends are the Starless we were introduced to at the end of Chapter 5. These guys look big and mean and pointy. I'll be curious to learn just how they got here sooner than expected. I'm guessing the surge in photon activity attracted them here, like moths to a flame. So that's a teaser for what's on deck in June. They're calling this PSO2 New Genesis version 2. So this and more on June 7th. Now, some astute viewers have pointed out that was the release date of PSO version 2 on the Dreamcast in Japan back in the day. Another thing worth noting is that Diablo 4 comes out the day before. Now on to everyone's favorite part, the operation report. Well, that depends on who you ask. People really like the old item catalog on the official site and they want it back. They've been getting a lot of requests for that. They plan on bringing it back but in a more simplified form, and it won't be the same as before. For thicker characters, the waistline bulges out more than necessary and it looks terrible. This is 100% relatable. I'm gonna use Zeota here as a prime example. Homegirl is pretty well built, and some things just do not look right on her. They plan on adding a function that lets us adjust how clothing spreads over the waist. The caveat is it's only gonna be in NGS blocks. People have been clamoring for a depth of field option for screenshots. Well, ask and you shall receive. Rejoice, for they plan to add this. Mobs spawn in such a wide area during PSE bursts, forcing people to move around a lot. They plan to take a look at that since enemy spawns are influenced by things like terrain. Here's another creative space one. People want to know how those building materials and furnishings may be obtained. They're rolling out another currency called Genesis Points, which you accrue through doing stuff in-game. They plan on releasing other parts which you can obtain through login bonuses and the SG shop. They also plan on having collaboration items that'll come from the AC scratch. Next headline is on May 30th, where they'll talk more about version 2, beyond just creative spaces. I know people were expecting more out of this, and that's understandable. I think a lot of that came down to misinterpretation on the English side. So what do you guys think? You know how much I love chopping it up with you guys in the comment section and on the streams. Come on by and hang out sometime, we'd love to have you. We talk about this sort of thing all the time. Anyway, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, to thine own self be true. Until next time, farewell.